Okay, good evening in everybody in Faceland, both Facebook land. I'm just there we go. So we're just going to do a live tonight. I'm waiting for I'm just waiting for somebody I requested to be a guest, and that's Anna. So Anna should be with us any minute. I haven't done a live on this page. It's live in my group as well. So I was going to do a live tonight with Anna. I've done a few lives with Anna before. We couldn't get the tech working on another platform. So we've been rubbish, really. So I'm just waiting to see if Anna can join me live on here. I hope so. We're going to Anna. If you don't know Anna, Anna Glambotskaya. She is a transformational intimacy coach. We've been friends for a long time now, and we decided to do a live together to talk about living your purpose. But as I said, we've been having tech issues, and that is working out how to get both of us on the screen at the same time. And so we thought we'd go live on here just to see if we can make it work. But she's not here at the moment, and I have invited her. So we'll just let's see what's going on here. No, that's not there. I don't know where she is. Thanks, Terry, for liking my mic. It's here's a request. Is that Anna? No, that's Carol. Do you like my mic? Got the new mic. Works really well, actually. Like it's proper professional and all that kind of thing. Podcasting. Let me just see you, Anna. You don't see. Let me see if I can bring you on screen from here, Anna. Here we go. Let's send Anna an invitation. There you go. Can you get on now, Anna? Here we go.
Okay, finally.
There you go.
Wow. It was a journey.
It was a journey.
Of getting here. Just 1 second, I will try to fix my phone. First of all, yeah. And I have low battery, of course.
Of course you do.
I will just plug. Okay. But because we were going to talk about how to be on purpose, and this is our devotion to purpose, to serving your God. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right.
So yeah, we've been messing around now for 25 minutes trying to get on screen together.
Yeah.
But we're devoted, right? We're not going to give up. We don't give up easily. We're here now.
Yes.
And we are. Have you? I think you've. I've shared it, so you can share this on. You share this on your timeline.
No, because it's only in the group that you shared, right?
No, this is on my timeline.
On your timeline.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm just afraid of touching the things.
So okay, well I can share this on you. We can share it on your timeline after this, right?
Yeah. Or you know, like what if you can tag me, it will be directly on my timeline.
Yeah, it will be directly
on your timeline. Okay, anyway, tonight we were going to talk about, after much messing around, we're here to talk about living your purpose. Anna and I, some people who've been following either of us for a while might remember that Anna and I used to do a few of these, and we haven't done one for a while. It was Anna's suggestion, and I thought it was a great suggestion as well, that it was time that we did another one. We've both been really on our own kind of journey, I guess you'd say, finding out where we fit in our market as coaches. And Anna, you've ended up as transformation and intimacy coach. Have I got that right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so do you want to, before we, and I guess that's you living part of your purpose, is it right? So do you want to like talk about how you got there?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think I will need not an hour, but much longer.
Let's have a condensed version.
Yeah. Yeah. But how I get there? Well, to be honest, I think this is the name or label I'm using today, which is the most close to what I'm doing today. But what I feel it's as well, it's changing all the time. It's what I want to bring today into the world. And how I would describe myself is just mastering different aspects of striving as a human, which is touches on very different subject, from relationship to yourself, finding peace in your whole system, in your whole body, then relationship to others, relationship to source, relationship to your purpose. What I'm mostly focused on today is on really how you can master relationship with yourself, which is about who you're designed here to be, which is about creating an operating system that supports you, healing what needs to be healed, and as well how to create thriving relationships into your life. This is what I'm focusing on today, but I have something else coming up soon, which I'm called to do, which will incorporate all of that. But how I came here, well, I believe it's what are you struggling with in life is what are you then teaching in life, and you want to share what you have learned on your own path with others. So how to move from the state of survival to being a powerful co-creator of your life, right? This is what was really a big lesson for me. And then relationships as well, connection to your sexuality as well as part of this subject. So it's basically coming from my own journey and what I have learned on my own journey, what I have studied, and this is what I want to bring to people today.
And do you think that you in like in terms of being kind of in that being purpose, is that on do you think you're on purpose?
Well, I think I'm on purpose, but my definition being on purpose might be different from someone else. For me, being on purpose is really being in service. And the purpose is, it can change as you evolve and you move from what you want to share with the world, then your purpose might change. The ultimate purpose that I believe, and it's more spiritual definition, maybe it's just to self-realize, it's just to find who you truly are, who you were designed to be, that you're not separate from the universe, from the source. And then for me, it's more like something greater intelligence is expressing through you whatever it is in the moment. Right now it's here, but later on it can change. But it's as well because my profile, and I'm more talking from the Gene Keys, it's more about being a teacher, and it's moving through different areas of life and then bringing them all together. So that's why maybe I feel that I'm drawn to cover different subjects.
Yeah, and I think I like I'm glad you mentioned the Gene Keys actually, because I haven't been back to that revisited Gene Keys for a while, but it's probably about time I should go back to that kind of, for anybody listening, Gene Keys is this kind of amazing book. I can't remember the name of the guy that wrote it, but it's kind of like the key to the genes of your life, if you like, and it can map out your life path. It's quite in depth. It's not easy to kind of get your head around yourself, but there are people out there that do kind of gene key readings and stuff like that, aren't there?
Yeah. It's it really helps you, yes, to find what's your purpose, but at the same time, I think it's not necessary, because if you really connect with yourself and you listen, you will find it. You will find what it is today. The problem is that many of us don't listen, and we live more in the world of what I should do rather than what feels good for me to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm working with people, because part of part of my journey of going into where do I fit in the niche of coaching, and we're always told as coaches that you have to go into your niche and sort of stay in your lane. And I kind of ended up, what feels right for me is ended up with well, I help, I like to help people get unstuck, because I found that with the people that I was talking to and the people I were coaching there wasn't a problem. They were having successful lives, but they were kind of stuck. And then the second part of that to me, the natural part of that to me, was once you're kind of unstuck from where you are, and that doesn't mean you're being unsuccessful, but the natural next part for me was a part about purpose, and they kind of naturally went together for me. So if you've gone through life, and you are, you go along a path, and then you sort of get a bit like, oh, what do I do next? Or maybe doing things that, like you say, doing things that you should, instead of doing the things that resonate with you, the things that are in your heart. And of course we can't, things need to be done because things need to be done, right? You got family, most people have got family, you got kids or commitments or job, house, whatever these days, normal life these days stuff. I also think that there's still that element of purpose can go in there, because I've kind of landed on the point where purpose kind of means two things. There's that level of purpose, which is that you were talking about, that higher spiritual level, that soul purpose. And then there's a purpose of taking it down to a more base level, where you're just living your life purposefully. So you're doing things on purpose. So if I do this, then this is going to happen, and that's going to happen, instead of just going, oh, I'm getting up in the morning and I'm on the treadmill, and whatever comes my what comes my way, and I hope things will happen, but maybe they won't happen, and I hope things will change, but maybe they won't change. Well, you can change those things to do some things more purposefully, to purposefully change your life, and then the higher level of your higher purpose, or your soul purpose is your life, is kind of tuning into your intuition.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and thank you for sharing, because I feel lots of people can struggle with finding their purpose, right? What's my purpose in life? And sometimes I feel this word can be overrated based on how it is positioned out there on social media. It's what you mentioned, it's being on purpose is the most important, is this being on purpose, because it will really change during your lifetime. Sometimes being on purpose is raising kids and really like being there. What I bring to these small beings, then it can be maybe taking care of your parents, right? And then how I can share love and compassion to them. And maybe if we ease this, I don't know what's the right word, but to create it more fluid definition around purpose. It's more how I can be more fully present with what I'm doing and find satisfactions, find fulfillment in whatever I'm doing. Because yeah, it changes. Life is no static, and it goes in this spiral. Sometimes it's okay not to feel any purpose at all, because sometimes it will be one cycle ends, another begins, and it will be this place of void where you just don't know what happens next, and you can't even hear your intuition. And some people are out in this period of their lives, and I have been there too, and it's scary. It's like there's a reverse process, and you just need to rest there. It's like life or Zen is just trying to rearrange you and the life around you so that you can find maybe your next purpose.
And I think that part is what you say, you can get lost. And I think maybe, maybe your life, like you were saying, I think it's like social media is, I really agree with you actually what you said then, that social media is to blame for. Like if you go for your life and you haven't got this big like, oh, like this is my purpose, this is my passion. Like if you don't have that, like like in some ways it seemed like you've failed, right? Because you haven't got this big thing that's supposed to be exploding in your heart, and you go off and do it. But like we were saying, and like you were saying, you get lost along the way sometimes, and it's distracting because of life and family and incidents and things that might occur. And that's when I think at the time, like we said before, when you bring it down to a base level, you start doing what you're doing purposefully with the intention that you're doing what you're doing at the moment, and then that things are going to turn out okay. I think it's when you slip back into everything being unconscious, everything you do being unconscious, just being on a conveyor belt, and you take your eye off the ball, that you can have a thought that you're doing something intentionally, if you like, or purpose or on purpose. They could be the same thing in this situation, and not that you're aiming for this big spectacular firework display of purposefulness, to explode, and all of a sudden you've got this epiphany, and that's my life purpose, and that's what I'm going to do, because that could bust open the good thing that you've got going on. So yeah, I agree that you do get lost along the way, but you can still do what you're doing on a daily basis, and you can do that with purpose. I almost think that we can come down and say, well, if you're just in the now with the task that you're doing, you can do what you're doing right now. Like we do this, what we're doing now, on purpose. We do it for a reason. And you can do it, all the tasks that you do in a daily basis in your life, although some of them are boring and some of them you might not want to do, some of them you're definitely not going to want to do. There's still an element of knowing why you're doing something, and I think that when that happens, there can be some easing in your mind of what you're doing.
Yes, yeah, totally. It's when we are trying to force something, to force find the purpose, it doesn't work because we are operating mostly from the mind. We connect to ourselves, to our intuition, and it's when we relax and just get present with what we are doing and being on purpose with what we are doing today, then maybe some great ideas will come, right, which will lead us further to our maybe greater purpose or what's coming next for us. Yeah, fully.
And I think that's absolutely right, because I think and the other thing I want to share is kind of, I think we also think if we're not found that purpose, and a lot of people would say, well, having kids was their purpose, and that's perfectly normal and perfectly correct and perfectly human nature. I also think that if I've spoken to quite a few people that think if you haven't kind of found this purpose, like early on in life, like in your 20s, that you've missed the boat and you haven't got it, and then you get someone that comes along and they're like, yeah, I found my purpose in life, I'm living my dream. But the reality is, for me, and I've shared this a couple of times in other like social media areas, even when I was getting to like 40, I didn't really truly find you know, my purpose, as in, you know, for me, my purpose is absolutely this, what I'm doing. It's coaching, you know, that's definitely my purpose. But I didn't, all the pieces didn't come together for me until I was 40, when I had that moment when suddenly everything clicked. But if I think about the things that happened before that, I was kind of purposefully going through and knew that I loved educating myself around personal growth. I knew that I loved understanding, you know, doing some courses, working on myself. I knew that I loved all that stuff. I just hadn't put it all to, I knew that I loved helping people. And I knew that I loved all that stuff, but I hadn't actually clicked it all together like you said. It hadn't all like come to that point where it all clicked together. And that didn't happen till I was 40. But when I got to 40, all the previous kind of purposeful actions that I'd taken then culminated in this thing. And it didn't come till I was 40. But some people would say, well, that's, you know, that's later in life to find your purpose. But I think it can come absolutely at any time in life. And if I remember somebody telling me in the past, and this can be fact checked because I'm going to get it wrong, but I don't care, that Colonel Sanders Kentucky Fried Chicken didn't start his restaurants until he was something like in his 70s or something like that. I probably got that wrong, but I know it was late in life. But you know, obviously and I've heard the story was, you know, he was out of a job, or he was made redundant or something like that, but that he knew how to make chicken, right? Like decent fried chicken. And so that would have taken him all his life to get there. And he'd always done that, you know, purposefully. And then you get to that point where it all kind of clicks together. So I think that what I've always noticed as well, there's always, when people are talking to me about their bigger purpose, I've never spoken to anybody where there wasn't clues all the way along their life. Like if you go back over their life and their timeline, the clues are kind of all there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The clues are there. It's like, for me, it's what you really love doing. It's the biggest clue. And as well, what people are coming towards you with, like advices or whatever it is that was for you. Like I know my friends were coming for me with sharing what's happening in their lives, asking for some help, some emotional reassurance or connection. So, and I love doing that. Yeah. But as well, I believe for some purpose, you just need this some experience, because I truly believe that being a coach which can help people, you need some experience. You need to go through a journey. It's not about buying a course which 3 months and then you're a coach. And of course you can be a good coach, but it's more about, okay, I have an experience. I have been in this field for at least some years, and then I have something to give because I went through some things, right? And I don't discourage anyone who wants to start this journey. You can start straight away, of course, and you will gain experience when you are working with people. But yeah, sometimes it takes time based on what is your purpose in life. Yeah.
Mm. And I think as well, and somebody, I can't remember who said this to me early on in kind of my coaching journey and my online journey, in that it's about those mistakes and those failures. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's about the mistakes and the failures that build the journey towards where you're going. And I think that when you know you're on the right track, when you're willing to do, you know, when what you're doing, the mistakes and the failures don't stop you, and they just kind of build you and keep moving you forward. And that's what I kind of think in my time, to when I found out truly that this was a thing for me. I tried a lot of different things, and actually even friends used to say to me, "Oh, you've done so many different things, you know." But now all of those things have given me a massive amount of experience to connect to people that I'm talking to. And so, you know, looking back now, I wouldn't have wanted to be, I wouldn't want anything to change. I wouldn't want to say, oh, I wish I'd known this when I was 20, because looking back, it came at the perfect moment. So, like you were saying before, I think if you keep taking purposeful and intentionful steps forward without knowing what maybe the big bang picture is, um, then it's going to come to you like it might click, and it might be later in life. There's one more thing that sprung to mind as well when you were talking then, and that is and this is sometimes it might the clues are there, and like you say, people come to you and ask you for your advice, and you love helping, and you love sharing, and I know you love teaching, and I know you love giving, and I know you do, you teach yoga and dance and that kind of thing as well. So you're obviously a natural teacher. And I've also seen the other side where people kind of know what their purpose is, but they're resisting it too. So they know, and they're like, oh, I don't want you, like, it's not that, they're resisting to something that really is their purpose, and kind of stepping away from it, thinking it can't be that, when actually sometimes it can be. And you have to surrender to your purpose as well.
Yeah, you have to surrender to your purpose. And I feel it's coming a lot because like of the society where we are living, it's where we have been conditioned to believe that we need to go and get a stable job and pay for our bills. So that's why maybe if your purpose is very different from that, it can be very challenging just to jump and go for it. As well, what I find a lot, it's sometimes when you don't have a stable father figure, and now I will be talking more about the development thing that can happen and why some people have difficulties with fulfilling their purpose. You need to have this strong solar plexus, lots of energy there, so that you feel like, okay, I'm capable and I go for it. I know for me it was a challenge. I have loving parents, but I don't remember having this strong masculine figure who would tell me you're capable and challenge me, that you're capable of doing what you want to do in life. And it's not to tell that my parents did something wrong because they did what they have been told to do, but I think it's what lots of people maybe are missing, this strong father or masculine figure who just can guide them and tell them that they're truly capable and that they can do it. And if you have not received it, then find someone, a coach, who can help you to get there, who can help you in this way and really point at your strengths and at your capability and your capacity to get where you want to get in life, to see you in this way. This is extremely important because honestly, you hear there are lots of advices. You need to see yourself first. Yes and no. Yes, as much as you can, but then sometimes if you have never been seen in this way, it will be difficult to give it to yourself. So then you would maybe need support from others, from a coach who can help you to get, so that you can repattern your system and feel it inside of your bones. Yes, I'm capable. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting that you brought that up, actually, because I was at lunch with my mum on the weekend, and my now stepdad, my my own dad died like kind of 20 years ago, and we were talking about relationships and father figures and all that kind of thing, a little bit, and how you related to. And in my relationship with my dad is great, and at the same time, there was, he wasn't a kind of guiding person. He was like, he was amazing in the fact that he was like, you can be whoever you want, you can be free, very much open-minded around being free, and I very much take that on board. And at the same time, so there was what he was good at, in my life. But the side that wasn't there, the type of person he was, and I'm not judging it because he was an amazing person, was the mentor and the like directional type person. So I kind of I thought, sort of definitely in my 20s, I kind of thought oh, you know, I think I've not got that person that's giving me, and maybe even to my 30s even, I've not got that person that's giving me that direction and that actual mentorship. And looking back on it now, um, you know, if you get someone like a coach in your life that is, you know, can give you some guidance, or somebody else, maybe it's somebody in your family, maybe it's somebody you trust. We're not here just to talk about coaching just because we do it. We talk about here to give, you know, value of things that you can do. There may be somebody in your life that can give you some guidance, or it could be in another group, it could be in a professional organization. But I think the point I'm kind of like scrambling to sort of try and make properly is that there's the people around you can see strengths in you that you probably can't see as well. So it's always good to have somebody from the outside that you trust and that has got 100% your best interest at heart to give you some kind of feedback or give you some guidance, and that kind of strong figure. And you mentioned male figure, but you know, maybe it's a female figure as well.
Yeah, that's why I like say like masculine, because it can be,
Masculine energy, right? Or yeah.
yeah. And it's, we need each other to walk each other home, right? It's
Absolutely.
about just giving everything to yourself. I think it's this, it can be sometimes you hear this trend, or you can give everything to yourself, yes, but at the same time, some things need to bring someone into your world who can first see you in this way, and then you will be able to see you in this way as well. And it's already in you. He's just helping you to remember that in a way. Yeah.
Hey, I just had a couple of things. I like going to ask you a question as well, just to give some kind of insight into into like how somebody might um find their purpose too. But I just want to do, I think something came into my head when we were talking before, and that is one, if you do have a like a purpose, and some people might call it a passion, but although I do think they're slightly different, it doesn't mean, you know, you talking about, oh, it's, you know, it's scary to jump into and all that kind of thing, and you might have a full-time job. But I think it's important to say it kind of doesn't mean that it takes over your life. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be your main thing. You know, your purpose can be an add-on to your life, but it can be something that you're doing in your own time, and you're happy for it to be something that you do in your own time. Or it might be something that you do in your own time and build up, if you're looking at it as a business, until you're ready, it takes over your daytime. And so there's kind of a few different avenues to bring it into your life. But I think as long as you, as we said more near the start, as long as you're purposefully moving towards things,
Mm-hmm.
then the right things will come into your life. I've got a question to kind of ask you. What do you think when you find, like when you found this thing that's very much of a purpose for you? What was the thing that made you, what was one thing that made you know that you were on the right track?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Thank you, my
Uh,
coach.
um, well, I think for me it was just this deep knowing that it is. And you mentioned about my love to dance, and for some time I was really involved in dance and going to New York and taking workshops. But then when I was looking at it long term, something was not clicking. For me, it's I feel it in my body. For me, it was something like, not exactly. I couldn't feel it doing myself like full time and just doing that. It was always something that I wanted to do on top of that. And when I had this passion, I was ready into coaching and personal development work. And then at one point it clicked. It's like, yeah, dance is more, yeah, it's my passion, but there were lots of ego involved as well. Like,
Yeah.
I want to prove something, that I can be this good dancer. For what I'm doing today, I think it's more soul driven purpose rather than the ego driven purpose. And I just can't do it. It's not it's not about making money. And of course it's for making money as well. Like, I don't want to to reject this part that we need in life, but it was just okay. I can do it for the rest of my life. And it changed one more time. Like, it can change the theme of what I'm teaching and coaching and giving. It can change, but that is it. It's just to serve through teaching and sharing my coaching gifts with the world. Yeah. And I was in a program, and there was an interesting exercise that we were given just to find what is truly our purpose. It's you are naming something, and you feel how it resonates in your own core, in your core body, and then you do it in a pair, and another is listening to you, and they can notice what's your true purpose and what is not. It's this subtle, I don't know, energy shift. But when it's your purpose, it's like it just lands. It lands inside of your own body, and the other can feel it as well.
And I think from my perspective, going down that journey and understanding that, you know, it was actually, you know, the coaching thing was actually suggested by somebody else to me. And when you're talking about the energy in something landing, I absolutely remember the exact moment when that word, those two words, sorry, life coach, hit my being, if you like, or my energy, and everything kind of exploded inside me and in my head, and I was like, that's it. And it was on a Sunday morning, and 3 or 4 hours later on that Sunday, I was booked on my first coaching course, which was in 1 month's time. Happened to be Mallorca, which was a very nice bonus. But then 1 month later, when I was in Mallorca on my course, like you just mentioned, I felt like I sat down there and I thought, we started the material and I thought, that's it, I'm home. Like, I'm home now. I could feel it in my energy, and I could feel it in everything that was going on. And then since then, because the path and the journey isn't always straight, and I know you and I have both had some of this, that you have to, it's okay to be, you know, coach and to be on purpose, but you know, this is not really about coaching, but it's talking about being on purpose. That once you, even if you do things on purpose and you find what your purpose is in life, shit doesn't still not fucking easy, because of some of the stuff that I know that you've had to go through and I've had to go through with more qualifications and learning how to, you know, learning online and learning how to promote yourself and learning social media and learning, you know, internet marketing and learning, you know, all kinds of different things that go with, you know. So you might say, well, my purpose is being an artist, right? Well, that's all very well. And somebody that I coach, which I'm allowed to share with because he always tells me to share, Phil, he's an artist, but he's also had to go through the process of trust, you know, believing himself to be a commercial artist, and then understanding how to get online and understanding websites and understanding Etsy and understanding all these different things. So it's all, you know, when you've got that thing, then comes loads of shit comes up behind it or along with it, where you have to keep pushing down your barriers, because then you need all the stuff that goes with it. And I think for the last thing I kind of want to add from my point of view about this is, you know, when I get to these hard times and I'm trying to learn something, I'm not really very good at it, and I'm trying to learn something, if it's to do with internet marketing or building pages or building websites or whatever, then I take a minute and I'm like, fuck, you know, I can't do this. It doesn't come naturally for me. But then I just say to myself, you know, well, you're going to give up. And the answer is absolutely not, no, and never. And that's, you know, so then I just take a step back and then I carry on. And I know, like you said, then I know that I'm never going to give up, because I know that I can keep learning. And when I can keep learning and I can keep talking to people, then I can keep helping people.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned that, and it's so true. And this is what I call devotion.
Devotion,
and,
yeah.
The definition, it's not my definition. I have heard it from someone. It's devotion is this commitment plus love, and this commitment part is paramount. It's not only about love. You get to face some challenging moments. You get to learn skills that maybe you're not strong at. And yeah, it takes commitment. I have been struggling a lot with all those landing pages and payment, how to install payment.
Yeah.
And every time I do it, I'm like, oh, okay, why I'm not supported? But as well, I feel as you go with your purpose, it's good to find support, people who can help you with that, so that you can stay more focused with the thing that you're really good at. It's what I feel today, but it's another on this journey is just to open up for greater support, what I'm not very good at. I do it myself and it doesn't work. So it's another learning to ask for support and to open up for support.
Yeah, and to accept, and to accept. I think bringing that in, part of, my earlier life, and what I said was like, my mum, my dad allowed me to be free and go on the path that I wanted to go on, which is cool, and not, we not having that strong guiding mentorship of particular path, which again, it's cool. I'm not saying they did anything wrong, definitely not. At the same time, what that made me was fiercely independent, and that is that's caused me problems, because it means to not, reach out for help, to not ask, to not get somebody to help me, because I saw it as a kind of weakness. So even along that journey, almost kind of coaching myself, if you like, and understanding that, that you might understand which way you've got to go, but not to think that the journey you get there has got to be on your own, and to not try and do it on your own, and to bring in and ask help from other people. Even saying that makes me go a bit, but I've had to learn that, you can't do it on your own, really. You can't. Nobody gets there on their own, right? End of story. Nobody gets there on their own.
No, because we are not here alone. We are here to be not dependent, but interdependent with others.
Yeah.
And the same pattern, I would say, of like being this independency. I don't ask for support, or really ask for support. And now I realize that, yeah, it's not the optimal way of living this life, and that support is available. It's just sometimes you can't see it because you're not open to see it, but it's around you. Yeah.
So let's just let's just like to kind of wind things up. What's the one thing that you would, one piece of something that you would say to somebody that would be helpful for them to think, well, that might be my purpose, but I'm not sure. What's the one thing that you would tell them to help them identify that?
To have that purpose. Well, what I would do is just to meet with a friend you can trust, or somebody, and just talk about that and notice how it resonates in your own body, how you feel about that. Because if it will be something, you will feel it. You will feel this increased energy running through your body. Something will start clicking inside of you. And it's good to do it with someone, because when you just do it with yourself, it's not so powerful. Just somebody needs to receive it. And they will give you some feedback as well, how it feels for them. I feel it's really, really powerful, because so that someone can receive it, so that you do it in the presence of someone, and you talk about that, and you will feel it inside of your, if it's really something for you or not. And like how to notice it, it's really increased sense of aliveness maybe that you feel inside. It's like, yeah, it feels good for me.
And for me, I think that's you're talking from kind of, having feedback from somebody else and talking in energetic terms. And so what I'm going to do is add in a kind of like a practical side under that as well. It's like, think about what you read. Think about what you read every day. Think about what you think about every day. Think about what you watch every day. Think about the kind of information you consume. But also think to yourself, what do I do, or what would I do if you've got a particular subject? Could I, if you've got a particular thing in mind, if I did that thing, would I not be watching the clock? If I did that thing, would it make me skip meals without me noticing? And if I did that thing and I got up in the morning and started doing that, would I be okay to do that every day for the rest of my life? And I think that's the kind of, if I answer those questions about doing this work, do I consume it every day? Absolutely. Do I get up in the morning and start consuming? Yes. Do I, get on at 8:30 in the evening and do this kind of thing? Absolutely, yes. Does it take energy out of me? No, because when you're doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing, then the energy is from, I'm going to say, it's from a greater source.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. It's
Cool. Well, I don't think on the phone, I don't think there's a way where we can take any questions from what I can see. But I'm going to say thank you for sticking with it tonight, for us both managing to actually get online, because we had a few tech faults. But thank you, Anna, for your time. And just before we finish, tell people where they can get hold of you.
Well, you can find me on my Facebook page or on Instagram, but Facebook will be easier. So I have currently some offerings to work with me, and yeah, just message me on Facebook, or you can look the type of content I'm sharing there.
Yep. And for me, you can find me on Facebook. If you're watching me on Facebook on my timeline, I've got a private group where I share a lot more information, like hints and hacks, anything that's helped me along the way. So these kind of things, and I go live every week in my private Facebook group. But if you want to join that group, I will put a link in the description above this video. But you can find me on Facebook if you just want to DM me, ask me some questions, or I'll send you a link. Or you can find my group. It's called Get Unstuck, Create Purpose. But just come to me and I'll get you in there, and I'll invite you in. And there's loads of information I've got to share. I've got some free offers, and Anna's got some free offers, so you can get free shit as well.
Yeah, to taste what we.
Not shit to taste, good shit. Okay, thanks, Anna. We'll cut it off there, and we'll do this again soon.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.